Hey everyone, Comboodle here, and welcome to the very first episode ever of Combo Reviews. This video will be a review of one of my favorite games, a game that I've logged over 200 hours in, and that game is The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. But before I go into the review, I'd like to say a few things first. So first, these reviews are just my personal opinion on the game, and if you disagree with my opinion, I totally respect that, and I welcome you to post in the comments your view on the game. And secondly, and most importantly, I'm judging the accessibility on how well my adaptive tech handles the game based on my physical challenge. So I understand a lot of people will have different challenges than me when playing games. So just take into account that I'm very fortunate to have found a very excellent combination of assistive tech to play games. So yeah, if you need more information, you can send me a private message on YouTube, and I'll try and answer as much questions as I can. So let's start going into the review. So The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is a RPG fantasy game. RPG stands for role-playing game, in case you didn't know. And it sets in a world called Tamriel. So the first thing we're going to review is the story/quests. So in Skyrim, there's lots of cities that you can explore. Some of them look pretty beautiful. And there's quests that you can go and talk to people and access things to do for them. But what I found is that there's a few buggy quests that will just stay in your quest log for the remainder of the whole game. There's no way to take it off, and it just sits there. So that's a bit of a negative point on that. And also, the game has no alignment system. So I found when I was playing, if I wanted to be a good guy, I really had to judge what was good, what was bad, which can get pretty hard, because it's kind of up to you, and there isn't really good and bad in the world. So if you do a bad quest or a good quest, it won't change your character, which I kind of miss that in games. I like some kind of alignment system. So that's also a negative point. But the positive points is that the story is very immersing, and you can get lost in the world and do a lot of things for a lot of people. And the best thing to do is just go to a bar in the city and ask for rumors.
If you need a good rumor or two, I think I can oblige.
Seems
Welcome
there's
to the
always
Winking
more to be
Skeever,
done.
friend. They say Falion of Morthal has studied vampires, Draugr, and all manner of undead. People say there's a man wandering the streets near the Blue Palace. He seems distressed, but he's not making any sense.
And you'll get a whole list of quests that you can start. You go to the map, tells you exactly where to go, and off you go. So I haven't really found that I'm bored at all playing this game, because it's quite a lot of quests. You'll get to one location, and then the next, and you'll pick up like 5 quests on the way. So for story/quests, I think it's a very, very excellent story. It's got dragons. They have returned to the world. Everybody thought they were a myth, but apparently they weren't. So without spoiling it, that's all I'll say about the story. But if you love story games, this is a very high pick to buy for you. So I'm going to give the story 4.5 stars out of 5. Excellent, excellent story. So let's move on to the gameplay. Now the gameplay is quite unique, in my opinion. I can't really base this on any other Elder Scrolls, because I never played the other Elder Scrolls. I jumped right into Skyrim. And I'm kind of glad I did, because after hearing a few things, they really got the gameplay good in this. And you can level whatever you want. So basically, you just go to the perk tree, and every time you level up, you get to select a perk. And to level up your character, you have to level up skills. Every time you level up a skill, you level up your character a little bit. And whatever you do just levels up the skill. So the more archery you do, the more archery leveling up you do. Now, when I started Skyrim, I was a summoner. I summoned creatures to do my bidding, and just watched as they wreaked havoc on my enemies. And that was pretty cool. I was also a mage. And you can do almost anything you want. You can fire fireballs as a mage, use one-handed weapons, two-handed weapons, or even archery, which is what my second character is all about. And the fighting is pretty smooth. I like the archery fighting quite a lot. When you get high in the perks, you can zoom in and slow down time and get the perfect shot. So if you're an archery fan, I highly recommend doing that. And there's so much options for you to level up. But I recommend that I found combat can get difficult if you do not focus on a hurting enemy tree, let's say that. So like focus archery, don't kind of spread everything around. I would focus, because you get some really nice ways to deal with enemies that way. But that's just my opinion. Now the game can be played in third or first person, but I highly recommend first person because third person is clunky in my opinion. So first person is the way to go. Now the negative things about the game is money is not that big of a deal. I thought you'd have to scrounge for money and make sure you had enough money and stuff. But I played an evil and a nice character. Nice character, I didn't steal a single item. I had all the money in the world. And then evil character, I stole everything and sold it to like stolen merchants who will buy stolen goods, because normal merchants won't. And I had, again, enough money in the world. So that's kind of negative for me, because I don't want to have, I want to have a challenge with money acquiring. I didn't feel that at all. So it's easily acquiring things, no matter what difficulty you play on. That's kind of negative and positive, but for me, a little bit more negative. Another negative thing is that there's a really cool finishing animation type thing when you're fighting. And for archery, it'll zoom in the camera on the arrow, which looks amazing. The thing is, you never know when that's gonna happen. I've tried many times to get that animation to happen, but you never know, it just kind of does it. It seems to do it if there's not too many enemies around, but it's pretty random, and I'm not really a fan of random in that way. Fall damage a little bit too high, in my opinion. You can die very easily from falling quite a little ways, so it's one negative. Oh, it's hard to tell the levels of enemies. I would highly recommend stay away from giants and mammoths while you're playing until you get to a very high level. I'm level 30, I'm still not able to deal with them. And you can't tell the levels of enemies. It doesn't show a level, so you just kind of have to know, and it can get frustrating when you begin the game and you think you can take on a saber cat and he kills you in one swing. So that's a little negative too. That's basically through trial and error to figure that out. Exploration can also get pretty time consuming if you're like me, and I just did a cheat to unlock every exploration, but you don't need to do that. That's just me. But yeah, that's in there. So overall, gameplay is pretty good. Some negative things, but overall, I would say it's pretty intriguing and a very good leveling up system. So I would say my final score is still 4.5, even though all those negative things. I'd say if it was easier to tell the levels of enemies, I'd probably give it 5. That was the big thing for me. So yeah, even those negatives, still 4.5. So also want to talk about graphical sound design, which I am including the world design in this category. So how they designed the world. And the world is completely open world. And it's such a beautiful landscape. You can go anywhere you want. Some parts are really snowy and high up in the mountains. Some parts are wet and like marshland, grassland areas. And the textures are just fantastic. If you buy it on Steam PC, highly recommend downloading the texture HD pack. It's free. And the game also has a day-night cycle, so that'll happen and go from day to night, and it's beautiful that way too. And there's some key elements like vampires come out at night and stuff. If you've got some vampires roaming around. And the voice cast, amazing. You will very often hear the same voice for many characters, sometimes even in the same city, but I don't mind that. And it's very well spoken with good accents.
I enjoy this work well enough, but I'm ready to retire. I've been thinking of selling the inn to Isolda. Anyway, what do you need?
So overall, I think the open world is fantastic. One of the best in any game I've played. So I'm going to give it 5 stars. Now, there's a topic I wanted to talk about. The last topic of the gaming review is that I don't think it's talked enough about in reviews, and that is replayability. So how well can you play this game again after you beat the main story? And oh my god, it's high. It's really, really high replay value. It's almost endless content. Let me say this, I've played 2 characters now, which is over 200 hours. I've still not even visited 4 of the major cities in the game. So imagine how much content there is, even without DLC. Oh, and if you're wondering if you want to buy the DLC, here's a reason to buy Dawn Guard. Buy it, get it, you won't regret it. Here's a reason to buy Dragonborn. Same thing. Get it. They're so awesome. So 5 stars replayability. So overall for this game, even though there's been some negative things and lots of positive things, I'm giving the overall gaming score 4.5. So that's the first half of this video. Let's quickly move on to the accessibility part of this review. So the one thing that I should say right off the bat is that I had to use another technology that I never used before to play this game. And that is why, and the reason for that, is that the WASD were not bindable. So you had to use WASD to move your character in this game. And I'm used to using my straw, which requires the number pad. Just wouldn't let me do that. So I was pretty frustrated when I bought this game. Luckily, I researched some software and I found a free one called AutoHotkey. So what AutoHotkey does is it rearranges the buttons so your computer thinks that WASD is the number pad for every aspect of your computer, not just the game. So that turned out it worked, and right now up on the screen is a screenshot of the template. I'm not sure if it required all that, because I didn't know how to use the software. I still really don't. But it works if you type that whole thing in, including the bottom number pad colon thing. And that should rearrange that. You can just replace number pad 6428 with whatever you want. And it should work. And the only thing it does is in the game, sometimes the key that you replaced will hold down continuously even if you let go. So if that happens every few minutes, you just quickly press the same button again, and it should be fine. So, example, if you're not sure what I mean, if you replace number pad 6, you replace W with number pad 6, if you press number pad 6 once, let go, it'll keep holding it sometimes. If it does that, you just quickly press number pad 6 again, or whatever you bind it to. So that's a negative point because I don't want to have to find another technology out there for one game. So that's a negative point. Another thing is that the mouse and keyboard are very, very highly used together. So you can't play the game with one only, you have to have both at the same time. If you want to aim the bow for archery, you gotta use the mouse left and right click. And there's no toggle, so you have to hold left and right click. The camera, also with the mouse. So you have to move your character with the movement keys and then move the camera to turn your guy with the mouse. You also have to aim your swings with melee weapons with the mouse. And also determine the power of your swings with the clicks of the mouse. So the mouse is important. Keyboard's also important because you need to switch between weapons, and also a negative point is in the dialogue. Sometimes the very bottom of the dialogue might be not visible. The mouse won't let you get there. You have to movement key to get to the different dialogues, as well as your inventory. So I think that's a little bit of a negative point with the game. But if you're good with the movement keys, you should be fine. Sometimes it'll get stuck though with the inventory, like I said before. It'll hold down a button, just push it again, it should stop. So overall, they could have added some more key binding, so I didn't need to use AutoHotkey. But overall, it's pretty good. It's not that bad. I've had way worse. So I'm gonna give the accessibility a 3.5 out of 5. Yeah, so all these reviews have been out of 5. And thank you very much, everyone. That is the end of my review. To recap, the gaming section of the review total is 4.5 out of 5. Accessibility score 3.5 out of 5. Still love this game. They did a pretty good job. And which game would you like me to review next? Magic Duels of Planewalkers 2015, Bioshock Infinite, or The Darkness 2? Please leave your suggestions in the comments. Thanks. So thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.